In this video, I'm going to show what I've been working on for the last month or so. It's a Guido V forklift from the movie Cars. He's the one that does the pit stops for Lightning McQueen. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie. I can't remember the names very well. But it's controlled by this HS06A KGL controller with the tank drive sticks on it. It has working forks. I have the buttons in the wrong order. I need to reverse the wires on the motor. Having trouble getting used to driving it. Got a little pallet over here for him to pick up. We'll see if I can do it. It's kind of touchy. I'm having trouble getting used to this controller. I think one of my wheels is slipping too. I'll show more details on how it's made in just a minute. Just more of a demonstration. Let's see if it'll pick its own front end up. I've tried that. Yes, it will. Kind of fun to play with. Well, I'll show out a little more about how it works now. I think I'll reposition the camera for that so I can get closer detail. I'm really not going to be able to show too much about taking it apart, and I'm not going to do that because it is a little monster to put together. Here's the board down in here with the 3-motor controller on it. Hoping that lights up. That's what you get when you buy one of these. Comes with it. On the bottom we have a proper battery door, a little caster. This is made to look like the rear wheel on the forklift. The wheels are, I wanted them aesthetically correct. They need to be painted. I'm going to try to paint or color this in some way. It's not going to be just one solid color when I get done. It may look like crap, but the wheels have the outline. I believe it's what I started with this right here. I'll talk about this for a second. When I started to design it, or just thinking about designing it, I looked on YouTube for Guido from Cars, and one of the first videos I saw in the thumbnail, they had this picture in the background, and I thought, well, that's a promising start. So this and another one that you have to scroll the video screen. I had screenshotted both those, and these are what I used 90% for designing it, using these in canvases, as canvases and Fusion 360. This printout doesn't look as good as the actual photos I used. But anyway, it has the front, top, back, all the views you need. The one they used in the movie I don't think is exactly like this. Like this headlights in the middle and the one in the movie. Tail light. I have holes cut out for the tail lights and two headlights. There's other differences. I'm not sure how accurate I got it. I made it in Fusion 360 with forms. They're like a molding type thing. They're like shapes that you can mold by pushing and pulling. They're not the normal way you do things in Fusion 360. You sketch something and extrude it, chamfer it, and stuff like that. But it worked pretty well for something like this. Need more experience at it. But it was a pain. I'm not going to lie to you. It was a pain to design. I think I got most of the features I was after. Of course, the hardest part is these forks, getting them to work. Because just like there's just a tube coming out of a car to control them. So naturally, I can only think of two ways: either running a shaft, like a 1/8" drive shaft, 1/8" brass drive shaft, and then you have to put a gear on it, and then that 3D printed gear that small, I'm not sure that would work. Then you'd have to attach it to a brass shaft by glue, and I'm not sure how that would hold up either. The other reason or way I thought of doing it was with these strings. What they are is just cables out of these badge reels you buy at Walmart, like 6 for $5 or something. I don't remember what I paid for them. I got them a long time ago. But anyway, you can kind of see some of how it works. I'll try to show you. The cable is tied to this part. It's actually clamped with a fork. That's why I've extended out like this. Thinking of a way that you could build this, actually build this, it was not easy. The cable runs, the top, one of them runs over this right here, down back through here, through a pulley, into a carriage. There's a carriage in there, like this. This is an very early version of it, driven by a worm gear. There's an N20 motor on here. This is part of a slip clutch. That's still a work in progress. There's another part that sets on the motor and goes in here, and it has 2 O-rings. And by clamping down on this, you can adjust the slippage, or that's the idea. I'm not sure how it's working. May have to work on that some more. But anyway, that's what's in there. It's in there like this. This carriage is hooked to, a cable runs around here through a pulley and hooks onto the carriage. And then also hooked onto the carriage is a spring, and that spring is tied to a cable, and that cable goes to the other side of this. So the spring helps keep tension on the system. So otherwise, it would fall off the pulley and it would just be a mess. You'd have to get these just exactly right when you tied them off and everything. So I put a spring in there. I think that's a common way of doing it. It works pretty well. Let's see if I can. You can't really see much down in there. I have a proper battery door switch. 2 O-rings on the wheels, on each wheel for traction. Well, I believe that's what I wanted to show. Just show you what I've been up to. Fun little toy to play with. If I was more used to a controller, personally, I would prefer a single joystick, 2-axis joystick, so I could push it forward and drive both motors forward, pull it backward, both motors backwards. This kind of depends on you getting them both punched at the same time. Might be easier for younger people, but I seem to be having quite a bit of trouble with it. And if you had a 2-axis joystick, you could just turn left, turn right, and you could use the corners for different, like drive one motor left or drive one motor right, drive one motor in reverse, or drive the other motor in reverse. I've done that system on another project I built a long time ago. I thought about building a controller like that. The problem with that is building it and getting other people to commit to building it is a whole different thing. When they see a PC board involved, they're just going to look the other way as far as building it. So that's why I went with the ready-made controller. Fun to play with. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say, I'm not very good with color at all. I'm partially colorblind. This is supposed to be, from what I read on the fandom site, I don't know, some site on Guido, this is supposed to be light blue, which I think that's probably right, but I think it's supposed to be a glossier light blue. This was glossier on the real, the filament was. These parts down here, I'm not sure what color they are. They look almost like a blue-green, light blue-green to me or something. So I'm having trouble deciding what paint to buy or what filament to try to buy. My preferred way to do it would be to print this one time in a multicolor with fenders, and some of these details are also that same color as the fender. These are different colors. That would be my preferred way, but I'd have to find the filament would the proper color. Also, his beret, I'm not sure exactly. I think it says it's a different color blue, I believe, but I don't think it's that much different. That's just what I had. Well, let me know what you think. I guess I'll call it quits on this. Thanks for watching.